Hey, this is Robert Monroe. Welcome to the No Edit Podcast. We talk about all sorts of things here, and I have a special case today, no different today, and that is I want to talk about attire. Yes, the thing that has so much to do with music and also absolutely nothing to do with music. Well, how does attire have to do with your music career and being successful? The truth is, it can really make or break whether somebody hires you back, your general experience, your network building, so many things. So what does a dude who mostly wears black t-shirts has to tell you about attire? Well, I've got the really straightforward things you probably already know and are just mostly common sense, although let's be honest, most common sense things are things someone had to tell you at some point. And then I've got a couple things that are more kind of niche, weird ideas that I have that I think are still really cool, and I will share with you. So let's start out with the really obvious ones, and that is you just need to read and have basic sort of reading comprehension. What do I mean by that? Well, so many gigs can be won or lost on the ability to just look over the entire email, very carefully parse every single line for some reference to what you should be wearing, and all the specifics, right? Anybody who's played a lot of corporate gigs and a lot of high-end events will know that they will put in, like, on the third page, after that they've gone on from musicians, right? They're talking about caterers. They're talking about what time the flowers are coming out on the timeline. And then there'll be a throwaway line saying, musicians dress in all black. And it'll just say that. And you're like, what in the world does that mean? Does all black mean to wear a black suit with a white shirt? Does it mean to wear just all black clothing regardless of style? Again, you can look it up. All black does have an actual definition online if you look it up in terms of formal clothes. But these type of situations happen all the time. So the first thing that I would say that you probably already know is to clarify if you don't know. So what you want to do is you want to send off an email to your contact. Now, the right person to send it to is either, if you know exactly who knows, just send it to them. If you don't know who exactly knows, send it to the person who's the most for you in the organization that probably knows the answer. If you've got anybody who doesn't like you very much, or they're really busy, or they're really hard to communicate with, just jump over that person, even if they're technically the right person to talk to next, because little things like this, again, asking clarification about clothes should not be a big deal, but it kind of sometimes is. And you can come across as being needy and overly demanding. Again, I know that sounds insane, but it's just the weirdness of the music world. I don't know why I'm playing so many minor ninths in this little improv underneath there. It's a dark mood, apparently, when it comes to clothes. Let's get some sunshine through. Okay, let's get back to formal events. In general, these days, I at least find you tend to have only one of two options. You either have the traditional suit. Hey, we want you in suits. And they may even be more specific. White shirt, black suit, black shoes, tie, belt. Or they may be a little looser with it and be like, hey, we want suits, but honestly, use your own judgment. They don't actually mean use your own judgment. Please, please, please dress in a darker colored suit 9 times out of 10, unless you are doing a very specific style of music. They really want you in a darker colored suit. Probably needs to be a black suit. That would be the safest bet. If you want to be a little risky, you can try dark brown, you can try gray, you can try dark blue, but you probably don't want to show up to an event like that in a bright green suit. It's probably not going to go over well. The other look that I would say is the most common look these days is the all black look. And the all black look is literally everything black, black suit, black dress shirt, black tie, yada, yada, yada. That tends to be a very, very common choice. That's for most formal events. Sometimes they will ask for something weird. It's really okay if you know they have the budget to be like, hey, are you providing that? Because you can literally lose your entire pay trying to buy weird clothing. And so if they want you to dress some sort of strange way, they really should be the ones providing for that particular look. You want me to be a cowboy? You better buy me some cowboy boots. All right, that kind of covers formal events. Then you start to get into unique events and unique bands. This tends to be as well more costumey. There's some typical trends, like I played with a lot of more Caribbean bands. A lot of times it's very brightly colored shirts. I think having a few really brightly colored collared shirts is a really great way to go. You can just chuck them on top of, depending on how formal the event is. If it's a formal event, you just put a brightly colored shirt on top of a neutral pant, black pant, khaki, whatever. Then sometimes if the event is less formal, but they still want that kind of more islandy look, you do the exact same thing. You unbutton a couple buttons and you wear a pair of shorts. Done. Maybe even flip-flops. Although shorts and flip-flops, showing toes and showing your legs when you're performing on stage, and maybe this is just the Chicago coming out of me, is probably never the right choice. I know, I'm sure somebody out there is already upset, but I would just argue, when you're performing, you are trying to elevate you on stage. Think about it. You're literally elevated on stage, and people are paying attention to you. So it really generally does make sense to try to wear clothes and attire that put you above and at your best. That's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to be your best. All right, we've gone over formal events, we've gone over weird events. How about let's go to more casual things? Let's say you're playing jazz out and about for different things. If you're playing jazz out and about for different things, now we're starting to get into the amorphous, just dress well. And this is the general thing that I think kills so many people. This concept of dressing well. What in the world does that mean? That could work for your jazz gig. It could work for your pop original gig. It could work for playing, as the piano man at the bar. What in the world is dressing well about? This is my 2 cents. And then I'm going to give you my 2 cents about church dress code, because it's slightly different, but it's very related. We do not live in a very formal timeline. So could you just dress in collared shirts, and then if it's a little bit more formal or you want to show off a little bit more, you put on a jacket? Absolutely. And I should have probably clarified at the beginning, hey, this is all coming from a dude's perspective. If you've been watching this video hoping for fashion tips from a dude about women's clothing, sorry, it's not going to happen. This is mostly for the dudes. I've looked at my analytics. It's mostly dudes out there. Hello. Let's talk, though, about that. How do you dress well? Well, yes, you could just put on a suit. You could just put on a collared shirt. But in 2024, if you haven't noticed, when you look around, there's not very many men in collared shirts and in suits. So how do we dress well, but we show a little individuality, we show a little style, and we fit in a little bit better in our current time? This is where I would argue you're going to have to be creative. And oh boy, I know, it's awful. Musicians, you tell me to be creative on my instrument, great. You tell me to be creative in fashion, what are we going to do? So how do we express our creativity but also not get in trouble? Because you will have had this experience at least once where you think it's just, hey, wear whatever you want. And then it turns out, no, that's actually not the case at all. You wear whatever you want, you're in trouble because they really wanted you to wear a specific thing. This is my best guess as to the best way to do this. What you'll want to do is you'll want to pick out an outfit that shows a level of care. It's really intent picking. That's all you're doing. You're trying to show somebody that you care about performing live and you care that they notice that you care about this event. So let me give you some examples of that. The first and foremost really easy example is to just wear dress clothes. Dress clothes are the tried and true. They're hundreds of years old. We know what they mean societally. They're great. But you could instead try a different approach. Let's say you wear a nice t-shirt, a designer t-shirt. Well, you're showing the same exact level of care by doing that. Let's say instead you wear a Target t-shirt, a Target pair of pants, but you got on a nice pair of Jordans. I cannot speak today. You got a nice pair of Jordans. I don't know what Jordans are. Maybe Jordans are a cool brand. No, I'm just kidding. Jordans. If you have a nice pair of Jordans on, but everything else is chill, what does that show people? It shows you that you have some personality, you got some coolness to you, so on and so forth. Another super easy way to escalate your look to really make you show out is having a jacket. And so you may got a t-shirt on, you may got just on a pair of pants, you throw that jacket on, boom, you're golden. Let's talk a little bit about cultural expectations with clothes too. I honestly think that a lot of it, people want to see your personality in your clothing. So if you have some cultural, ethnic, heritage that you're proud of, showing that off in your clothing is mostly going to be wins in modern times at modern gigs. Now, you do want to be sensitive to the band and who you're playing for, and sometimes the venue, but I would say the most thing is who you're playing with. For example, if everybody dresses in black and you just know that's a thing, and then you show up and you're dressed in bright colors and you're like, hey, it's just me. No, it's not just you. You're just being kind of a jerk. That being said, little tiny tweaks is going to make a big difference, and they're all over the place. Hey, let's say the whole band dresses up in suits, but it's not a super formal band. They just all wear jackets. Well, you throw on cargo pants, and now you've got a different look, a different aesthetic. And of course, you can do the same thing with jewelry and accessories. You can throw on a watch. I'm not too much a watch guy. I always just wear an Apple Watch. But if watches are your thing, boom, that's your thing. You got it. I know a dude who, it's hats. He's always got a sweet hat on. And at that point, it almost doesn't even matter what you wear because you have that one piece. So just to kind of summarize, formal events, do whatever they asked you. Informal events, you probably want to have one piece that is elevated that you literally probably spent real money on. And you may even been begrudgingly doing that because you're like, hey, I'm a poor musician. Why am I spending so much money on this? But it will pay off. I have quite a few pairs of Jordans for the exact reason to have this piece that, again, I can throw on a full outfit of Target. The outfit costs a third or a fourth of what the shoes cost, but I'm set, and people are like, man, that's a great looking outfit. It's just the shoes. It's just the shoes. The rest of the outfit just fits me. And that would be the final point on that. When in doubt, wear fitted clothes. Like, if you've got a cool look with being baggy or overly tight, you know you don't need this video at this point. You just know your style, and that's great. Otherwise, just wear fitted clothes. Just wear clothes that actually fit your body in its current state. Nothing wrong with that. Love yourself. It's going to be wonderful. All right. Let's talk a little bit about church dress codes, and then just some random thoughts and then get out of here. So how about church? Church is kind of funny. And what I mean by that is it used to be you just wore nice clothes at church. Church was always business casual as the minimum, right? And then at some point, people just started showing up to church wearing whatever they felt like. What that has caused is panic in the people on stage. And you see it at every church. Nobody knows how to fit together or anything. What my personal opinion is there is this kind of hidden agenda for every church band. And that is, we need to make sure that if you walk into our church, someone on stage looks like you. So you kind of have to decide, if you're a guy, who are you going to be? And then make a good guess so that you are the only person who has that outfit on. So there's always t-shirt guy. T-shirt guy is a pretty coveted position. You can try to be t-shirt guy, but unless it's like a really cold day, if it's a warm day, there's going to be multiple t-shirt guys, and you will have made a mistake being t-shirt guy, because you can't have too many t-shirt guys, because that will mean no one is sweater guy and no one is button-up shirt guy or jacket guy. And those positions all need to be filled. Who's going to be jean guy? Who's going to be khakis guy? Who's going to be stylish guy wearing stylish pants? I'm telling you, this may sound insane, and if you don't work at a church and play for a church, you might literally be going, what in the world about this segment? But I'm telling you, it is a real thing. So that kind of sums up all my positions about dress when it comes to music. And believe it or not, this is going to be one of the main ways you stand out to people. And when they ask you back again, is they're going to be like, man, not only was this dude great at his job, but he also stood out and brought a level of fashion and visual sense to what we were doing. The visual is very important in many settings. I hope this was helpful. I hope it at least sparked a little bit of thought in you about how you put yourself together and get yourself ready for gigs and different things. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if there's any other random things you want me to talk about. That's really the whole point of this podcast, is just to kind of ramble on a bit. So anyway, until next time, have a great day.